Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kenny B Show. A lot of us eat wrong. A lot of us are taught to eat wrong. And when we do this, we only doing it because a commercial on the TV show you a juicy hamburger. You like, ooh, you got the juice coming out of it and the cheese melting and the ketchup and mustard is smeared nicely. And honestly, any food that's cooked less than the 3 minutes is not healthy. You got something that you cook in under 3 minutes, mm, all the nutrients and stuff is like kind of vaped out of it or frozen out of it or something like that. So you're not really getting good food, nutritions, and minerals and stuff like that. So before, let's say 1984, before 1984, um, black people wasn't eating a lot of flesh, steaks and big old barrels of chicken and what's that? Seafood boils and stuff. Black people wasn't eating all that shit. But now that we eating all this shit that other people used to eat and rare raw meat and shit like that and blah, 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 this fast food, we catching cancer. If you notice, if we round about the 70s, fructose syrup and all that shit, right? We use real syrup or molasses or something like that. It was real natural shit that we use for sweeteners and shit like that. And even if you use the white sugar, it's still better than NutraSweet shit. They don't tell you that the NutraSweet has rat poison in it. So your mama and daddy drinking that motherfucker diet Pepsis and all that shit, they drinking rat poison and you wonder why they get Alzheimer's. But I'm here to talk about diabetes. Diabetes is something easy that you can cure. Now, reason why I'm talking from experience, right? Now, I didn't did myself. I took shit out of my life, quit eating meat, and I started taking this stuff called Diatomaceous Earth Food Grade, which gives me minerals and it detoxes my body and cleanses out the system so I won't have buildup. I won't have blockage. A lot of us who eat flesh and blood only because somebody told you, even in the religious, blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. That was very barbaric. And that's how they Christian themselves when they took over Africa. The first king ate some flesh of the people and drank the blood in front of the whole crowd that he conquered Egypt or Kemet. And now, still to this day, it's a traditional thing that people will go to church and mentally think that they're eating Jesus Christ and drinking his blood. So now when you come out of church, what's the first thing a nigga go do? Let's go to Old Country Buffet. Let's go to Cracker Barrel. What's the other one? Golden Corral. Yeah, let's go to Golden Corral. They getting steaks out at 12. So when I went to my doctor, the doctor was like, because I ain't gonna lie, it was the time I was just eating shit, just thinking that's because they said it, that's what it was, and that's what it should. So I'm just eating. Then I got, a little money and shit. So I was eating and I kind of fucked over my health. I started catching, I had acid reflux because I was drinking a whole lot of Pepsis. Like I used to sleep with a case or two of Pepsis next to my bed and I wake up and pop two and drink and go right back to sleep. So that formed acid reflux. Then I had a hair of the honey because I was eating a lot because I was smoking, eating this shit. And I had the King's disease. Just constantly eating and smoking, drinking, eating, smoking because I was working. That's how I worked. I worked at a strip joint. So it's all about goddamn me, that environment. So I was in that environment. So when I went to the doctor, because I was trying to eat some food, I'm having a different job now. I'm sitting down, I'm going at lunch and shit like that. And I'm sitting down, and every time I come back from lunch, I'm doing shit like that. I'm like trying to swallow down while shit trying to come out. I'm like, what the fuck? So they said acid reflux, a aortic hernia, gastritis, and a pre-ulcer. 4 things. And I was just talking about some bubble shit that was coming up. You know what I mean? So they gave me some medicine, Prilosec. That shit fucks you up. Because after 30 days, they only give you a 30-day supply. That 31 day and the weekend after that, so that's like 3 or 4 days, you know what I'm saying, that you missing. Heartburn, bad as ever. So what I'm saying is, I had to stop that dumbass shit. I knew I couldn't eat no more tomatoes. I couldn't eat no more pineapples, milk, wine, alcohol, shit like that. It was like things I had to cut back on because that formulates acid in your body, right? Milk is the worst thing that we should ever put in our bodies. We should never, ever drink another species' milk. Who the fuck drink milk from an animal and think that you're going to get healthy? That's the shit that's causing the cancer. That's the shit that's, if you don't milk a cow, the titty milk, it start forming cancer. And what they do, they go cut it out and still milk the cow and give you the shit, give you the milk with the cancer shit in there, and they put radiation in it. So now you sitting up there drinking a poison pus cocktail, cow mucus. So that shit gets in our body and fucks us up. People who have asthma, never drink milk. If you got asthma, please stop drinking milk because that's what's forming up all that mucus which you can't breathe through. The white people won't tell you that. They'll give you some steroids and try to open up your lungs and keep you drinking that shit, and that's what's killing you. Back to diabetes. Diabetes, man, I cured my diabetes because they was like, oh man, you got a high level of sugar. Your sugar level is very, very high. This and that, blah, blah, blah. Me doing my research and doing the shit I was doing, I was like, oh, okay, watch this. So me using diatomaceous earth food grade for years, researching for myself before I even told my doctor. It was 3 years after I told my doctor that that's what I'm doing. And from that time until now, I have the perfect health. My diabetes sugar level, that shit is 1 notch away from normal. And I eat candy and sugar a lot. I eat the shit out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm 1 notch away from normal. 1 notch. It's because normal is 106, mine is 107. So prostate good, liver good, kidney good. But reason why I'm saying this is because of diatomaceous earth. Let me get the thing. Babe, you gonna get that? This is what it is. Diatomaceous earth food grade. Anybody with high blood pressure, anybody with diabetes, and anybody with lupus, right? Because what this does is it's not only a detoxer, it's also a mineral. It gives you the minerals that you need in your body that you don't get from the foods that you eat today. You know what I'm saying? So diatomaceous earth food grade is something that I've been researching for a very long time, been using for a very long time. It was funny how I came across this, but it had human benefits from this, right? It had human benefits. And that's what we would start looking at. And I was going down and reading the comments and shit like that. And I done watched the video on what is diatoms, right? You have to understand what diatoms is when it comes down to diatomaceous. Diatoms is this mineral that forms up in the ocean that actually cleans. Put you in mind, what people try to extract from sea moss, this is the natural shit that you're extracting. See, this is why this is better than sea moss, because sea moss, you have to extract the shit out of it because it's soaked up into it and absorbed into this little moss thing or whatever. Well, them diatoms die down after 7 to 8 hours, and they have a mound of them built up. And once the water decreased, it's a big mound of this shit. So what they do, they take the mound and break it down into flour. This flour ain't nothing but minerals. If you ever went to a cave and seen the minerals and shit kind of dropping off the ceiling and shit, you see these sickles of minerals. Pretty much the same thing. This is diatoms, which actually cleans out the ocean. So this is why you never see fish with cancer. You know what I'm saying? You never see a seal walking around with a tumor on it, because the minerals that they get rid of all that other shit, to not make them hungry, to not have diseases and built up. When coronavirus and shit was going on, anytime I get a cold or something, feel like a little bug or something in the air and something caught in my throat, come home. Because what this does, it kills the germs. It's a detoxer. You know what I'm saying? And it also is a mineral. It revitalize and rejuvenate your joints and shit. Your skin. That's why if you ever see my fingernails and shit, something this kind of broke off now, but I have real nice, healthy fingernails. And that's because it puts it back, the strength back into your nails and shit. Your hair, if you ain't got no hair, bitch, you might need to take some of this, you know what I'm saying? And the website is earthworkshealth.com. Let me make sure where is it. It's right here at the bottom. Earthworkshealth.com. And what I'm saying is, I know a lot of us, we eat wrong. Y'all love eating that shit because Big Mama did it. Well, she probably had an amputated leg or some shit, or she died of high blood pressure or a stroke or whatever the fuck. That's the reason why. I know a lot of y'all probably didn't get the lifestyle that I lived, but I grew up, with parents that actually were able to learn that. I was able to benefit from the food that we grew. So it wasn't a lot of meat. It wasn't a lot of fast foods and shit. I remember shit. Fast food was McDonald's the first of the month when we go to Grandpa Pigeons or Ventures or Kmart's or some shit. When she going to buy that monthly supply or whatever the fuck. That's when, cause she ain't got time to cook, so she go get that little fast food Happy Meal thing, and we eat that shit. And really, it wasn't good enough, cause that shit didn't last. It wasn't. It didn't fill us up, but it was food. So. And I think that's what happened now when it comes down to a lot of us in households, especially the women. The women don't know how to cook no more. They think because you go in there and you fix some shit that they made in a box and you put it in the oven, that's fixing food. No, I'm talking about cooking from scratch. Getting the ingredients and putting that shit together so you know exactly what's in it. Now you go to the stores and buy some shit out of the store or whatever. You don't know what they put in their food. Even the cereal. The cereal ain't the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
That's because it's bioengineered.
Yeah, bioengineered. Everything is bioengineered now. So all the flavors and ingredients and nutrients and stuff is not put in there as some type of chemicals that's substituting your true minerals and stuff. So now we start developing lumps in our chest. Some of y'all boys out here got titties. You got estrogen in your foods. You got estrogen and damn near everything that they're giving you, and you wonder why these boys walking around here with titties and shit is lapping over like that. I'm damn near 50 years old, nigga, and my shit ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's why some of y'all bodies ain't snapping back. You get big and shit. I was damn near 300 pounds. I ain't got all that flabby shit on me or nothing, my nigga. Like, for real. And I'm getting down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 100 pounds lighter. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got that. My body's pulling back in because I eat the right minerals. I eat the right thing that's going to do it. If you eating so much of this fast food junk and these uncooking bitches that think that I got to go out and eat and all this shit, man, you ain't going to never snap back because you're not getting the minerals to draw your skin back. So now they want you to go cut on yourself because you didn't eat the right foods. You steady not eating the right food. To stop diabetes, it's the food. You could stop diabetes by stop fucking eating what these people telling you on a pyramid that you're supposed to eat. You don't supposed to eat no damn flesh and blood. You're a human. Now them motherfuckers can eat it, But you, nigga, you better stop eating that shit. That's what's killing us. You think the polio is really chicken? They got so much steroids and antibiotics in that shit, you can't even take NyQuil no more and get a high from it. Because of the chicken you eating. They put all type of motherfucking antibiotics in that motherfucker. So now when you get sick with the bird flu, you know what I'm saying, a corona or something that they didn't gave you, now you taking the NyQuil, and the NyQuil not doing nothing because you didn't ate so much of that shit inside of the chicken. Now you need narcos and all this other shit. You need this high drug shit, this high level designer drugs that they got out now, fentanyl and shit. Niggas didn't take cough syrup like that. We ain't know about no promethazine and all that shit. That shit wasn't for us. Nigga, we went to the store and got some NyQuil. Nigga be sleep like this and like, motherfucker on NyQuil, man. Motherfucker wake up next day, nigga feeling happy and shit, feeling good, fever gone, shit, let's do it. Now, get some NyQuil and see what happened. Nigga, you gonna have to drink that whole motherfucker bottle. So, that's because of the foods, how we eating these foods, man. The food's fucking us up. Stop eating that meat. I know y'all ain't gonna like me saying it, but it's just the truth. It's just something that y'all need to know. We need to stop eating flesh and blood. Once we stop eating that flesh and blood, we can start eating the candies and the cookies and shit. But if you eating candies, cookies, and you know, those three things, because you got, you know, your carbs inside the cookies and shit, you know, and the breads and the honey buns and shit, then you got your sugar inside of that. Then, you know, they even put fat pork and all that shit inside of your cookies and shit too. Then you're gonna eat that shit raw, like bread with that, flesh with that. It's already got it in the shit that you're already eating with your cookies and shit. So now you just triple, double, doubling all this shit up in your organs. And you think that your dick ain't gonna work? You think your heart gonna work? You think you ain't gonna have a stroke or nothing? That shit is like that, man. We gotta start thinking, man, like the shit, just because motherfuckers put it on TV don't mean that we supposed to be doing this shit. Good morning. You know, it's been times, man, where shit, you know, I felt that let me see something. I'm sorry. It's been times that, you know, I let myself go because I wasn't knowledgeable of how food was. And we got to really look at, you know, when people give us, y'all got to excuse me too, man. When people give us a pyramid, some type of way of eating and living, and these people don't know none of our basic skills, what we eat, our body frames, they try to line ourselves up with them, and we're totally different from these people or these beings. You see what I'm saying? We're totally different. And for us to try to take on their knowledge where when they wasn't even here, they Johnny come latelys, and them to try to follow them in their eating habits. And we know from their eating habits that they was very cancerous driven people. Before the 80s and 70s and shit, we didn't see black people like that with a high level of cancer. That was only white people. And when you think about it, they the ones was eating all this raw meat and all this other shit like that. So they was catching cancer. White people and been having a king's disease since they was let out the caves and allowed to live in a barn. Okay? These people were very savage. These people had very barbaric ways of storing food and eating food. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have refrigerators. So what they did, they used salt. They used salt to store their food. So all that sodium and stuff that they was eating, you know what I'm saying, caught up with them. So the length of their lifespan will be around about 35 years old. White people was only living up to like 35 years old because of their eating habits, because of this king disease, where basically we call it gout today, eating too much red meat. And I guess black people wanted to live not so country and eating, foods that other people get to eat on TV and shit like that. So we ventured out and started doing shit like that, and we started catching cancer at a very high rate. We started practicing things that they was doing to catch cancer, and now that we have cancer. And the funny thing about it, look at the Latinos. Now they're doing it. They're catching cancer and high blood pressure and diabetes because they're not eating the traditional things in the way that it was prepared when they people was here for their body structure, for their diet. When you put fructose syrup and all this other shit inside of these chemicals, bioengineered shit inside of food that we never had, you don't think that it's going to start formulating tumors and things like that? So you have to detox your body. You have to get this shit out of your body. And this is what I use. And my family use it, and other people who I know that had these problems or having these problems, I recommend it to them. And from how you use this and keep your system clean or whatever, it's going to reflect on your doctor's visits. Maybe one day you go in there and your doctor say, hey man, I don't think you need this medicine anymore because your levels and shit is all right. You cool. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. You ain't got to get on this medicine no more. I mean, you can't beat that. And a lot of this times, shit too, right? It might not even come from food. You know where else it can come from? Alcohol. A lot of your weight problems, you fucking up your liver. You can't cleanse yourself. You fucking up your kidneys and shit. You can't cleanse your body. That's your cleanser system. That's your filter systems right there. And that shit can't go through. Well, what do you think it's gonna do? It's just gonna start sitting in you. You're gonna start gaining weight because all the toxicities is in your body. You know what I mean? You got to get that shit out, man. Most of y'all people got big stomachs because you ain't took a good shit. Because you got so much blockage up in you, the shit is sneaking around some solid shit. You got to get some shit up in there to break that shit up, man. You got to get in there to break it up. They got some procedures where people get so backed up, they take a vacuum cleaner and suck the dookie out your ass. Because it turned into a block. And you can't break it up. You can't put no stool softeners and shit all up in it because it's then got hard as a rock. And that's what caused cancer, your colon cancer, your prostate cancers and shit. But if you constantly keep your body detox, you constantly keep it, filtered, breaking shit down for you, you know, and that's what diatomation does. It's like it break the foods and shit down that you need to so it can go ahead and go and do what it do instead of just stick. You know what I'm saying? Flush it out, drink a lot of water. You know what I mean? That matters. But I just came on here, just to tell you, how I went to the doctor. The doctor told me I had very sugar levels, high sugar levels. And I told that doctor, I'm gonna get this shit right. Cause I ain't getting on that medicine. And over these years, I have done it. Right? She ain't talking about, well, we got to put you on diabetic medicine because your shit, I ain't passing out, I ain't peeing, I ain't have no side effects of what a diabetic supposed to have, anything. I never got the point to get there to be a diabetic, but I stopped it before it even happened. And how do you do that? You change your diets. You detox your body from all the toxicities that you accumulate. If you have never detoxed your body and you're 45 years old, it's going to be some problems. You're going to start feeling a certain type of way. We're so used to eating what these people say to eat, and that's not the right things. We are drinking things that we shouldn't be drinking because these people said it's USDA approved. Just because a motherfucker tell you that don't mean that we're supposed to, be doing that shit. Especially us humans. Us humans don't do that shit. It's not made for us. When they do shit, they test on chimpanzees and they test on albinoid rats. That has nothing to do with a melanated person, right? That has nothing to do with a melanated person when you're talking about an albinoid rat and a chimpanzee. A human didn't come from that. We may evolve from other things, but we didn't evolve from that. And that's nothing in our nature to even know because, first of all, anything albinoid, it's not going to relate because you got the hue. You're human. This is what makes you a human. This is why they call themselves mankind, a kind of a man. Because when we seen them, they had fur like a motherfucker. Not just the fur on the top of their head, but they had fur all over. They was very savage. They was vampires and werewolves, Bigfoots, Yetis, and Sasquatches. We used to call them Bushmen until we found out that under all that fur, it was a human. It was some type of mankind under that. He wasn't Hugh. He was some type of mankind. And from that point, we tried to educate. And all of the savage barbaricness that was in its nature, still today we see, even in the foods. That is not the diet of a human. When they stole and conquered and colonized people, they didn't bring those people food. They didn't allow people to do the traditional things. So now these people over time forget the tradition, so their health get bad. Just as bad as they capture her. Stretch, exercise is very important. You want to get your heart rate up so you can be able to push these things, to push your fluids through your body. Your blood got to circulate. If you're not having no circulation from your feet to your head, you better know in the middle part ain't going to stand up. If you falling out, goddamn, because your blood ain't going to your head like it's supposed to, that means it ain't going to that other head either. And a lot of my friends and family members, they're getting older, and they ask me questions about, male erection dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? And I tell them, it's an easy fix. You just gotta get this shit. You get this shit, man, and start using it. And it's gonna detox your blood. It's gonna detox all them clogged arteries and shit like that, so you can have that flow back to your shit. You don't need no pills and shit like that. If your shit already clogged and you're getting the pills and the pills trying to pump the shit through and they can't do it, well, that's packing it even tighter. So that's gonna lead to a heart attack or a stroke. So I'm just saying. Tell my friends, hey, if that's what's going on with you, man, get some of this shit, clean your system out, detox your shit. Stop eating flesh. Stop eating chicken. Stop eating pork and beef. None of that shit is good for us. None of it. You want to clean your kidneys out. Get some fruit. Go on a 2-week fruit diet. Stop eating that flesh, man. That's what's getting us. That's what's keeping us with high blood pressure and diabetes. Humans don't supposed to eat it. Our teeth ain't even made to eat flesh. It's made to bite into a fruit or a vegetable. These canines and shit ain't to bite into no flesh. Our teeth ain't pointy to bite into a flesh. It's flat to bite in vegetables. You don't see no motherfucking fish that don't have teeth. You know what I'm saying? Biting into flesh. They eat the little worms and shit that they can eat. You know what I'm saying? They eat out the little scavengers and shit, you know? They not eating no motherfucking goddamn meat shit. They got to chew up, eat like that. If they needed to chew it up, God, nature, or whatever the fuck would have made them with teeth. That's why sharks got teeth. Sharks got teeth because they need to chew their food up. And they food is like damn near knives and shit. Because you biting on some whales or some shit, goddamn it, you need some scissors. Because that's your food. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go snatch a piece off a motherfucker whale. That shit tough as a motherfucker, but you're a shark. You could bite a motherfucker chunk in that motherfucker, but that whale could turn around and eat the shit out that motherfucker shark. Swallow that motherfucker whole. You know? But I'm out this motherfucker.